Oprah asterisk voice breaking slightly. I remember standing in my garden in Mississippi as a little girl, with absolutely nothing to my name by society's standards, but feeling this profound sense that I was meant for something more. That feeling, that choice to see beyond my circumstances, that's the power we all possess. The power of choosing positivity isn't just some feel-good notion. It's the very foundation that transformed my entire existence. Oprah asterisk warm, inviting tone. I want to welcome you to a conversation that might just change how you wake up tomorrow morning. Today, you'll discover the exact morning practices I've used for decades to maintain positivity through life's greatest challenges, when I share the intimate details of my personal journey. Practices that helped me build a billion-dollar empire from nothing, and that will reveal why the first 20 minutes of your day determine everything that follows. As you saw in the thumbnail, I'm opening up my morning journal today, something I rarely share publicly, because I believe the power of positivity isn't just a nice idea. It's a deliberate practice that transforms lives. Holds up journal visible in thumbnail. This journal has been my companion through some of my darkest and brightest moments, and today I'm inviting you into these pages. What I know for sure is that positivity isn't something that happens to you, it's something you choose every single morning, and that choice makes all the difference. Oprah asterisk, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to maintain their light even in the darkest situations? I've interviewed over 37,000 people throughout my career, and I've discovered something remarkable about those who thrive versus those who merely survive. The difference isn't what happens to them, it's how they respond to what happens. I remember interviewing Maya Angelou, who told me something I've carried with me every day since. She said, "Oprah, you can tell a lot about a person by the way they handle these three things: a rainy day, lost luggage, and tangled Christmas tree lights." Laughs warmly, MMMMM. That wisdom has stayed with me because it speaks to the heart of what positivity truly is, not the absence of challenges, but the presence of a perspective that sees beyond them. Oprah asterisk, the first decision you make each morning sets the tone for everything that follows. I learned this the hard way during the early years of my show when I was working 18-hour days and feeling completely depleted. What changed everything for me was realizing that positivity isn't something you hope for, it's something you practice. Every morning before my feet hit the floor, I take 5 deep breaths and whisper these words: "Thank you for this day. I am grateful. I am ready." Those 10 words have transformed my life more profoundly than any achievement or accolade. If you're finding value in these intimate details of my morning practice, please hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing these personal rituals throughout our time together, practices I've never compiled in this way before, and subscribing ensures you won't miss the complete framework that has sustained me through both triumph and tragedy. Oprah asterisk, what I've discovered is that gratitude serves as a positive anchor. When we begin by acknowledging what we already have rather than focusing on what's missing, we create a foundation of thankfulness that can withstand even the most difficult circumstances. Tell me about a time when you felt completely overwhelmed by negativity. We've all been there. I certainly have. The question isn't whether you'll face difficult moments. The question is whether you've developed the practices that allow you to respond rather than react. Oprah asterisk, in about 12 minutes, I'm going to share the exact 3-question practice that helped me overcome the most devastating professional setback of my career. It's a technique I've taught to everyone from presidents to prisoners, and it works every single time. So stay with me, because that moment at the 20-minute mark might be exactly what you need to hear today. Oprah asterisk, what I'm really talking about here is energy. Positive energy doesn't just change how you feel, it changes the entire atmosphere around you. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the heaviness? Or conversely, have you been around someone whose presence just lifts you up? That's the power of energy, and here's what I know for sure. Your energy precedes you into every room, every conversation, every relationship before you ever say a word. When you choose positivity, you're not just changing your day, you're changing the experience of everyone you encounter. Oprah. I've never shared this before, but during one of the most difficult periods of building my network, I was surrounded by people telling me all the reasons it wouldn't work. Every morning, I would sit in my prayer space and consciously choose to focus on possibility rather than limitation. That choice, made day after day in the quiet moments before dawn, is what sustained me when external evidence suggested I should give up. Remember when I mentioned my journal in the thumbnail? Holds up journal again. There's an entry here from December 2007 when everything seemed to be falling apart. I wrote, "I don't know how this will work out, but I know that it will." That's not blind optimism. That's practiced faith in possibility. If you're resonating with this conversation about energy and how it shapes our reality, tap that subscribe button. I'll be exploring these concepts more deeply in future conversations, including an upcoming discussion with energy medicine pioneers about how to protect and amplify your positive energy field even in toxic environments. Oprah. Let me ask you this. How do you speak to yourself when no one is listening? The relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. What I've learned through my own journey is that positivity and self-worth are intimately connected. When you recognize your inherent value, not based on achievements or others' opinions, but on your very existence, it transforms how you move through the world. I spent years trying to prove my worth through external validation before realizing that worthiness isn't earned, it's recognized. Oprah. We're going to talk more about this in a moment, but first I want to acknowledge something important. Positivity isn't about denying reality or pretending everything is perfect. Some of the most positive people I've ever interviewed have endured unimaginable suffering. What I'm hearing from many of you is a misconception that being positive means ignoring problems. Nothing could be further from the truth. Real positivity isn't about pretending difficulties don't exist. It's about responding to those difficulties with the belief that meaning and growth can emerge from them. Oprah. When we come back to that powerful question of resilience, I'm reminded of my conversation with Dr. Maya Angelou about her childhood trauma. She told me, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." What she understood, what all resilient people understand, is that positivity isn't the absence of negativity. It's the ability to hold space for both reality and possibility simultaneously. The practice of positivity creates momentum that opens unexpected doors. I've seen this in my own life. Countless times, when I consistently choose a positive perspective, opportunities appear that I couldn't have imagined. It's as though the universe responds to the energy we put out. This isn't mystical thinking, it's practical psychology. When we look for opportunities, we find them. When we expect connection, we create it. Oprah. What I want you to understand is that this daily choice, this morning practice of positivity, gradually transforms not just your personal experience, but the very energy you bring to every situation and relationship. If this exploration of resilience through positivity is speaking to you, please subscribe to join our community. Every week, I share these intimate conversations about the practices that have shaped my journey, and I'd be honored to continue this exploration with you. Oprah. As we begin to close our time together, I want to leave you with what I call my soul question, a question I ask myself in my journal each morning. How will I use my light today? This question reminds me that positivity isn't passive. It's an active force we bring into the world. Whether you're speaking to your children, collaborating with colleagues, or simply passing strangers on the street, you have countless opportunities to choose positivity. I believe we're all here to use our light, our unique energy and gifts, to illuminate the path for others. When we choose positivity each morning, we're not just changing our day, we're changing what's possible for everyone we encounter. What I know for sure is that a life rooted in the daily practice of positivity creates a foundation of hope, joy, and purpose that can withstand even the most difficult seasons. This isn't about denying reality, it's about creating it moment by moment, choice by choice. Thank you for sharing this time with me today. I'm Oprah Winfrey, and I'd be honored to continue this conversation with you. Until next time, remember, the power to choose positivity is always yours, beginning with your very first thought each morning. Opera, asterisk softly, and as Maya would say, this is a wonderful day. I've never seen this one before.